available. So now we are recording. So we are recording. So the recording of this section is going to be made available. So yes, I can see my slide and video. Thank you very much for the feedback. So the recording of this section is going to be made available, and so we are recording right now. So it's going to be on my YouTube channel, and you can watch it over and over and over and over again. So my name is Okoluwole. Like I said, I've been doing real estate now for the past 12 years, and I basically started this community because I just want to give back and impact people. That's the reason why I started this community, and I want to appreciate every one of us that have been receiving our messages and all of that. So now to the topic of the day: how do you make money from your idle property? So let's go to the next slide. So introduction. So what is debt capital? I'm going to be explaining the concept of debt capital to us. So basically, when we talk about debt capital in real estate, so debt capital are, number one, assets, real estate assets that are not producing money for you, or real estate assets that are being underutilized, or real estate assets that are not bringing in cash flow. That's basically what debt capital and real estate is all about. So let me give an example. Everybody knows that real estate is huge. Real estate is big. I know that there are quite a number of us that are here that maybe your father or your grandfather own a property in your village. But the truth is that probably you are in city right now, and you cannot, because real estate is not mobile, you cannot move that property from your village to the city, right? So that property that you have in your village, even though is an asset, but it is not liquid, and it is a debt capital. The best probably you can even do with it is as a game reserve, or the best you can do with it is just farming. So that is an example of debt capital. There are reasons why capital can be debt. There are reasons why real estate can be non-functional. I'm not going to go into that today, but I needed to give you the background, because I know that a lot of people will be thinking that, what's this guy saying? Real estate that I've been doing for the past 20 years. What's this boy saying? No, real estate sometimes can, because of the fact that it's immobile, can be a debt capital. Let me give you an example, for instance. Now, there's possibility that you have a property somewhere and there's no access road to the property. People can't go and rent the property. People can't go and live where the property is. As far as that property is concerned, that property is already dead. In terms of a real estate terminology, that is a dead capital. Your capital you have invested in that property is just there, and it is what? Dead. That's basically what that means. Are we together? That's basically what that means. So, because there are two things that real estate are supposed to be doing for you. Number one is that it's supposed to be giving you capital appreciation. It's supposed to be giving you what? Capital appreciation. In case you have any piece of property and is not appreciating in value, is not what? Appreciating in value, or is not giving you cash flow. Basic things. Those two things are key. A piece of property must be appreciating in value. A piece of property must be giving you cash flow. Your piece of property must be appreciating in value. Your piece of property must be giving you cash flow. These two things are critical. These two things are critical in any piece of property that you hold. And if they are not giving you these two things, then you need to consider selling that property and move to a property that can give you capital appreciation and consistent cash flow. Not just cash flow, not just one-off. It has to be a consistent cash flow. For those that are just joining us, we started already. We are still in the introduction. And the rule is this. We are not going to unmute anybody. All we are going to be doing tonight is that we are going to take questions in the chat room. So any question as I'm teaching tonight that is dropping to your mind, just drop it at the chat room or whatever chat room of the platform you are going to be watching the replay from. So let's move. So what is an ideal property? I think a definition is not out of place, since this is the reason why we are here. We are talking about ideal property because a lot of people have asked me which one is ideal property. I have to explain to them. So it's good that I put the definition here. So what is an ideal property? An ideal property is a piece of real estate that is not being used for any purpose. This can include vacant land, abandoned building. Are we together? Or commercial properties that is no longer leased. So all of these are ideal properties. All of these are ideal properties. And some of the examples of property, I just mentioned them, it would be a plot of land within a city. The owner is not building on it. A lot of things are not happening. So it could be, is an example of such. Number two is that an uncompleted building. Maybe somebody is building a house and all of a sudden he couldn't raise fund to continue building that house. That is an example of an ideal property. So the uncompleted building will just be there. And basically there is no way it will be able to make cash flow, or even the uncompleted building might not appreciate at the pace that the person desires. Number three, it can be a commercial property that does not have tenant again. Maybe something happened and tenant left and people just feel that that area is no longer viable for them to come and be renting apartments. It could be that there are security issues, there are security challenges within that area. So these are some of the reasons why tenants leave an apartment and the apartment remains idle. Then another example of ideal property is abandoned building, just like I mentioned, that might need a major repair. An abandoned building that might need a major repair. So all of these are the examples of ideal property. I know these are not the reasons why you are here tonight. So I'm going to dive into the reasons why we are here tonight because of time. I'm a stickler for time. So let's quickly run through the reasons why properties stay idle, so that we can have a look at, okay, what are the ways we can really make money from this property. So number one reason why properties stay idle is location. Somebody say location. Location is one of the reasons why properties stay idle. You see, in real estate, we often say that location is very, very important. Yes, location is very, very important. Location determines a lot of things when it comes to real estate. Location determines a lot of things when it comes to real estate. So location is number one reason why properties stay idle. That's one. Number two reason why properties stay idle, it could be financial challenge. It could be what? Financial challenge. It could be financial challenge. It could be the reason why properties stay idle. Then number three reason is the rising cost. I'm going to explain each of these reasons. Rising cost. Then number four is investment viability. Because see, I often tell people that see property as an investment. See property as an investment. See property as an investment. So probably somebody is constructing a project, and the investors cannot see any reason why they should continue with that property. The property can just stay idle. That's one of the reasons. Then number five is not location. Number five is actually land speculators or land banking. So some people just buy a piece of property, and they will just leave it That's number 5. So that's number 5. It's not location. It's not location again. Number 1 is location. Number 5 is land speculation or land bankers. So these people will just bank land. They'll just leave the piece of land there, and they will not come back to it. It's one of the reasons why property stay idle. Then number 6, among many other reasons why property stay idle, is owners, the owner and ownership. So let me explain. It's actually 2 in 1. So I don't just want to split it into 2. So the owner can just decide to lock up the property. Especially for those of us that are probably in Lagos. Maybe tenants have shown the owner shaky. You understand? So the owners, probably some of us have experienced such before. The owner will just say, see, I beg, I don't want tenants issue again in my life. Oh, no. I beg, make I just lock this place up. So that can be the reason why the property is idle. So the owner can just decide. The owner can just decide that, see, I beg, this property, I know they do again. So then ownership, there's possibility there's an ownership issue. There's possibility there's an ownership issue, especially when there's a court case that is ongoing. If there is a court case that is ongoing, most likely the property will be idle, it will be abandoned, you cannot work, you cannot release it, you cannot make cash flow, even though it might be appreciated. You understand? We mentioned something earlier that there are majorly 2 things that, among many other things that your real estate must be doing. It must be capital gain, which means capital appreciation, which is your asset must be appreciating, or number 2, for cash flow. If you have any property that is not achieving these 2 things, that property needs laying of hand. And the best advice is just to sell it off. That's the reason why I'm heavy on cash flow. You cannot have capital that is idle, debt capital, property. You could have used the fund for something else. Property that could have given you money, and you have them idle. So let me run through it again. So that a lot of people are joining us. So let me run through it again. Number 1 reason is location. There might not be access road. There might not be. Okay, let me even give you an example. There's a place called Iseyin. Iseyin is in southwest Nigeria, especially for those of us that are outside Lagos and maybe south and southeast. Iseyin is somewhere in southwest Nigeria. So Iseyin is very close. Is basically a farming town, and it's very, very close towards the northern part of Oyo State. So a friend of mine bought a property. It's possible that he's even on this call. He bought a property 3 years ago, 200 acres. 200 acres at 200,000 per acre. Property is quite cheap in that. It's very, very interior. In fact, it's a virgin land. What I mean by virgin land is that it has never been tilled before. At least in recent years, it has never been tilled. So he bought that property, and with the aim to start farming. But he bought the property before lockdown. So lockdown came. That was 3 years plus ago, and just decided that he's not interested in buying in farming again. And when he wanted to buy that land, he had 2 options. He was supposed to buy another property, which is a house, but he decided to buy that piece of land. Follow me carefully, because I want to drive home a point with this story that I'm sharing. Follow me. I want to drive home a point with this story that I'm sharing. So, because of when we are talking about location is very, very important, and real estate is very, very powerful. So we had the discussion some couple of weeks ago, and I was asking him. So he came back after his master's in Spain. He came back to the country, and he was lamenting, he's regretting the fact that he bought the property at Iseyin. So apparently after he came back, he called them. So then when he bought the property, one of the things that discouraged him was that the property did not have access road. So he is the one that will have to open up road. So he couldn't accommodate that cost. He expected that the property will have access road, so he didn't do anything. on the property. So later on, I mean, within the time we brought the property and now there are quite a number of insights that I've got. So we're just talking. And I told you, I said, no, don't lament. Don't lament. You bought that property already. So you bought the property for 200,000 naira per acre. What that means is that, my calculator is always beside me. Let me just do a simple calculation. 200,000 divided by 6. That means he brought that property like 33,333 naira per plot. Are we together tonight? That was the purchase price of that property as of 2019 before COVID happened. So 2023 now, that's like 3 years plus. I told him, I said, before you start lamenting, let's even call, because his own lamenting was the fact that opportunity cost. They could have used the money, because then he bought 200 acres at 200,000 times 200. That was 40 million. He could have used the money to buy a property somewhere in Dagada that was going for 40 million. He said, all the while that he traveled, he could have been making money from short legs. He would have been making money. I said, you're actually right. However, don't let us condemn that property outrightly. What is the going rate of that property right now? So he called. The guy before, they were so happy he called and all of that. And they told him that now property in this axis is going for 1 million naira per acre. He said, hey, are you sure? Yeah, yes. Property is now going for 1 million naira. So 40 million naira that he invested 2019, even though it looks like it's a debt capital, he's not making money from it, right? Now, what's 200 million naira? 40 million now what's 200 million naira? That's 5 times the amount he invested in just 3.5 years. So what that means is that even though he couldn't make cash flow from it, but since 2019, because of farming and all of those things, now, I now told him, I said, that same property was supposed to buy for 40 million naira. You can decide to go and sell 50 acres or half of that same property for 100 million, pull it out and sell 2. Buy 2 of that same property that you did not buy 2019, the opportunity that lost. So location matters a lot in real estate. I told him that it would have been a disaster if the selling property is probably now 250,000. That is a debt capital there, because inflation has eaten up the money. Am I making sense to us tonight? Inflation has eaten up the money. So these are reasons why properties stay idle. So, and owners, I've mentioned that owners are one of the reasons why properties stay idle. Financial challenges, like the economy now is in a lot of mess. So it's possible that properties stay idle. Are we together? So, like I said, rising costs. I'm into construction. We have a project right now that we are doing in Bagada. When we started that project about 2 years ago, the project was supposed to cost us 105 million. We reviewed the price. Along the line, there were some delays, government and regulatory delays that we experienced. We did a cost review of that project. We realized that that project is going to cost us 190 million. Now, after floating of Naira, the project now is going to cost us 225 million Naira. See, from 105 to 225 million Naira. That is, the project is now costing us 120 million Naira extra. So rising cost. So if you don't have the financial muscle, people will pull out, they'll run away. But that's not our own case. And like I said, viability of the investment. So one of the reasons why we stay in that project is the fact that we see it as a viable investment. So, like I said, the number 5 is land speculator. So some people just speculate about land, they buy property, they leave it there, and they don't do anything with the property. Are we together? So those are some of the few points. So let's quickly look at what are the options. So Let's say now you are in a situation where your property is already idle. You are in a situation where your property is already idle. So what are the available options? What are the available options? What are the available options? Whatever the reason, idle properties can be a drain on the local economy. They can lower the property value, attract crime, and make it difficult to attract new businesses. These are some of the challenges when you have idle property. So what are the options? Option one is to what? To put it up for sale. Cash out from it. Option two, put it up for income, cash flow. That same idle property, let's put it up for income. So we're going to be looking at both option one and option two. We are going to be looking at those two options right away. Are we together? So if you are still with me, go to the comment section and just give me number 5. We are 25 in the room tonight, so give me number 5. If you can still hear me, if you are still with me, give me number 5. I want to be sure you are with me. Okay. Waiting for others, waiting for others, waiting for others. Okay. Can I get up to 15? Can I get up to 15? 5. Just give me 5. Just press 5. 5. So that we can continue. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. So that means you are all with me. Okay, so let's move. So option one is to put it up for sale. Option two is to put it up for income, that is cash flow. So let's look at how to go about this option one and option two. Okay, so if you are putting it up for sale, what are you going to do? Putting it up for sale, what are you going to do? So this looks like the easiest option. I beg, make I sell am, abi? If property no dey give you money, couldn't you sell it off? So I often recommend to people, because for the past 12 years, there are quite a number of things that I've been able to do, and I've been able to do them successfully. And I've played as a realtor, I've played as a developer, I've played as a marketer, I've played as in construction, I've played in a whole lot of field. So it gives me vast experience, and whatever I'm saying and whatever I'm teaching this from a perspective of a practitioner. So they are not book knowledge. There are things we've tried. There are things that has worked for us. You know, the Holy Book says what you have seen, what we have heard, and what our hands have handled. So what do you do? Number one, when you want to put such property up for sale, is that you research. So please, let me put a caveat now. Let me put a caveat. There are some things that are on this list that is not applicable to all properties. Because when we are talking about idle property, yours might be that tenant has left the property in the last 6 months. Another person, Mr. B's problem can be the fact that the property is uncompleted. His father inherited it. For instance, now, one of the people in the community chatted me up today. He said that he's looking forward to this class. I hope he's around. If you're around, just say hi in the comment section. He said that he needs this because so that he can know what, so that he inherited a property, so that he can know what to do. So that I can know what to do with the property that he inherited, so that witches and wizards, I just busted into laughter. That witches and wizards and all of that will not attack him or something. But it's quite funny to me. But you see, when you own a property, when the property is producing money, I mean, it's the joy of everybody. It's the joy of everybody. So you can even settle the witches and wizards of the money. So let's move forward, please. So number one is that you research the market. You research the market if you want to sell it. So if you want to sell an abandoned building, you research the market. You want to sell a piece of land, you research the market so that you can know the possibilities. You see, when you research a market, most of us that own property, permit me to use this word, we are very lazy. Are we together? Most of us that own property, permit me to use the word, we are very lazy. We are very lazy. And the reason why I say we are very lazy is because we don't do market research. We don't do anything. We just want our agents. We just want our agents to do everything. We just want our agent to do everything for us. We need to do research. We need to do research. Research is very, very important. We need to do research. Research is key. You can't just give the responsibility of selling that property to just your agents. Do a research. So what does property says in this area? What is property going for in this area? How much is 1 bedroom? How much is 2 bedrooms? Similar property to yours. If it's an abandoned building, you can look at it. Okay, let's assume that similar building, or maybe it's an uncompleted building. Let's assume that similar building after completion goes for 100 million naira, for instance. But yours is not 100 million. And you have an idea that with 50 million naira, with 50 million naira, you can complete that building. So what it automatically, what it's telling you is that your own property currently now is worth 50 million naira. Are we getting that? It's worth 50 million naira. So you have an idea. So you have an idea of what the property is going for. So you do your research depending on the property that you want to focus on. You do your research. Your research are your due diligence. Number two, because of time, let's see, so that I can finish by 8 on dot and use 30 minutes to take questions. Number two is that I like the reason why people should buy. So I often tell people you role play here. So let's assume that you are the one that want to buy this property. Why should people buy the property? Right? Highlight it. Why should people buy that property? So you are the seller. You have worked all your life. Why should you use your hard-earned fund to buy that property? So I like the reason. It could be 5, it could be 2, it could be 3. Then you now advertise. A lot of people own property, they don't advertise, and they're expecting miracles to happen. You don't light a candle and put it under the bushel. No, you don't do that. You have something that you want to sell, you advertise it. Let people make inquiry. You can do small banners and get around a plot of land. Those are the things agents do. The reason is not because you don't need agents. I'm still going to get there. That's not the reason. The reason why you're advertising, the reason why you are doing all that you are doing is because you yourself should even get feedback. So when one agent is telling you, people are saying it's too expensive now, because you have an idea of what the market is saying. Critical. Very, very critical. Very, very critical. Don't miss that. You must advertise. No matter, use any media. Use any media to advertise. Then number 4, use local agents within the community. I get a lot of questions. A lot of questions. I have, maybe you're even on this call. I have property in Ilorin I want to sell. Me that I'm in Lagos, I should help you to sell property in Ilorin. No, you need a local person. You see, in my little experience, one of the things I realized is that anything I want to sell, as I am praying that, God, let me see this property to sell, I need money, I want to be liquid, somebody too is somewhere praying, God, this money that I've gathered together, God, let me see a good property at a good deal, in fact. And you prayed that, God, if I can just sell this property for 10 million, it will be a miracle. I'll bring 10% to your house. You have, in fact, probably you even added fasting to me. And somebody gets somewhere to, God, I can just get this type of property at 9.5. Oh my goodness. But because the person that is praying, looking for property, is going to go to the area that he needs the property and look for the property. Or he will go to the platform, he can look for that property. Platform, online, communities, he will start looking for adverts. In the days of newspaper, probably will buy newspaper and be looking for adverts. You buy Castle magazine. That's what the person will do. But you that you are the seller, you are not advertising and you are expecting miracle to happen to that property. No, it will not. You need to, and you need to use local agents within the community. You need to use local agents. Usually the reason why local agents are very, very important is because they understand the terrain. They understand what? The terrain. So you need to use them. Take for instance now, it has happened to most of us all the time. Somebody visits you. Maybe you are living in an area and somebody visits, ah, I like this your area. Ah, how much are they selling a plot of land in this area? I think Mr. Taju, the man that helped us to get that place. I'll call him. And lo and behold, it's the Taju that they call. They don't know that you want to sell. So local agents within the community are very, very important. And I'll be giving us, because of time, I need to rush a little bit. I don't want this recording to be too long so that people can watch and benefit from it. So local agents are very, very important. You need to get them involved. So there are ways to get them. Some people have asked me this question: how do I get local agents and all of those? Don't worry, there are ways, because these guys have association. I remember about 5 years ago, I went to do a presentation for to all the agents, association of agents, and they meet. You know, Nigerians, we like association. They meet. You go there, you approach them, talk to their president. See, I have a property I want to sell. Imagine if 50 people were in that meeting that day. They will give you platform to address them. Don't think that they won't give you platform. They will give you platform to address them. All of this that I'm giving to you, I'm giving them for free, no consultancy fee, nothing. But I'm just going to do this video once. Anybody asks me a question, I'll just refer you to this video. You understand? So that is very, very important. Lose your local agents. There are ways to get them, and I'm just giving you one way to get them. Number 5 is involve LCDA. That's local community development agencies, association rather. Your community development association, LCDA, their ESCOs, involve them, let them know. There are two things that is going to do for you. Number 1, it's going to help you protect that property so that somebody will not come and sell it behind you. Then 2, it's going to help you get buyer as quickly as possible. And some of you might be thinking, by the time I involve all these people, they want to collect money at the cost. That's number next. Include a good compensation. The reason why some of you are not selling is because your compensation is not good. It's because the compensation is not good. You want to sell property of 1 million naira, you want to give somebody 20K. Why? How now? Why not sell the property 1.2 and give the person 15%? Give the person 20%, make him head swear. Are you getting it? Make him head swear. Good compensation, money motivates. There is nobody that does not want more money. There is nobody that does not want more money. Money motivates. Then number 7 is that be flexible. Be flexible. All that I'm sharing with you looks very, very simple, but actioning it is the key. That's what separates achievers from people that procrastinate. I hope you are going to action them. Okay, be flexible. Consider instrumental payment plan, especially in this economy now. Nobody wants to pay outright for anything again. So consider instrumental payment plan. Be flexible. Be flexible. Be flexible. That is very, very important. Be flexible. Be flexible. Don't be rigid. Oh, this is okay, no problem. I'll give you discount. Be flexible. Pay for 6 months. Not that you do 2 years payment plan. Or you are not an estate company. Be flexible. Okay. And then number 8, think of a cost-effective way to increase the value of that property. There are so many ways. Think of a cost-effective way. Let's say it's a piece of land, for instance. Clear it regularly. If you can afford to fence it. Let me say, if you want to buy a property, they show you a land that is not fenced, and they show you a land that is fenced with gates. Which one will you buy? I gave someone this advice so many years ago. I told he said he's not able to sell. I said, my brother, you won't sell, no. But he listened to my advice. And what did I tell him? I said, fence it. He said, you can't fence. I said, plant grasses on the land. and get somebody that will be mulling it for you regularly. And he did that. So when he takes buyer to the place, they see grass, he say, yeah, you know, people, we are very emotional. As simple as that was. In fact, before he was able to sell it, he was even getting people that want to come and use the empty land for events, prayer ground, things like that, because it's clean and clear. So just think of effective way, depending on your own property. Think of effective way that you can make the value increase. Effective way, creative way. There are so many things you can do. Put people on the land so that the place will not be pushy. Consider a lot of things. Like people say they have abandoned project, abandoned property. Do you know how many people that are looking for workshop? Do you know how many generator repairers that are looking for workshop? Do you know how many carpenters that are looking for workshop? They don't need roof, oh, they will do the roof themselves. Oh, I don't know whether you are getting this at all. They will do the roof themselves. For those that are just joining us, you're welcome. So number 9, consider joint venture. Consider joint venture. The Nigerians don't like to collaborate. I don't know why. I don't know. Everybody is suspecting everybody. And collaboration is the new order when it comes to business. Consider joint venture. Consider joint venture. It's very, very key. Consider joint venture. Number 10, consider events or open house, depending on the type of property that you have. Consider events or open house. These are ways you can sell your property, put them for sale, and can sell them very, very fast. So you can do either of these, or you can do multiples of this. I believe it will help you a great deal. So that's if you want to sell. What if you just want to be receiving income from it? So this is the next thing that you do. Put it up for income and cash flow. Put it up for what? Income and cash flow. So number 1, research the market and determine what the demands are. Research the market. If you notice one wanted to sell, you say what? Research the market. So you have responsibility. You have what? Responsibility. In case you have any of such property, you have responsibility. There's no life without responsibility. So you have responsibility. Do you get it? Yes, you have responsibility. So you have responsibility. So put it up for so you do your market research. Then afterwards, you consider a lot of organizations can rent it, schools can rent it. I mean, several have been involved in several deals whereby school we rent an uncompleted building, because a lot of people ask me questions about completed building. And I'll just tell them, are there no schools that in your area that want expansion? Just go and meet them, offer them. Offer them. Do you know, especially in Lagos, there is an association, I don't know whether in Ogun State or any other place, but I know in Lagos, Association of Unregistered School Owners. Association, yes, there's Ahmed or something like that. That's just go with them, Association of School Owners. I've done several presentations for them. I've done several presentations. Go and meet them. You will see somebody that needs school, that needs space. And schools, this cash flow. No recession will make people withdraw their children from school. As they are withdrawing, people are bringing. So cash flow is there. Banks are ready to give them money. So your income is key. You should not have an abandoned project, even if it's a piece of land. Even if it is a piece of land. Even if it's a piece of land. So permit me to drink water, please. So other options are bakery, car wash, truck park, mechanic village, and any SME that has association. There are plenty of them. Mechanic association, a lot of them. Do you know how many of Keke Napep people that are looking for a place to park their car, and you have property that is idle? So a lot. If we can just do the research and look at this community where my property is, what are the demands? What are the demands? So that's number 1. You make a research and you identify any of these points that I'm giving to you. Then number two is that identify the demography of the people that are willing. Identify the demography of the people that are willing to pay. So who are the people that are willing to pay for that your ideal property? You identify that through your research because it's the next thing. Then position the property for such. Position the property for such. Who says that you yourself, as the owner of the property, can hand banner outside your property? Just like I mentioned, if you want to sell, you need to advertise. Number four, you advertise, use media. Use media. You can decide that, see, oh, this is my abandoned building, this is my piece of land. I want to give it to event planner. I want somebody that will come. From my research, I think we will need event in this area. Event center in this area. And I have 1-2 acre there. That is likely. Don't worry, I'm not selling, but just come bring your tent. I'm still the owner of the land. You can even be a joint venture. At the end of the year, we'll be sharing profits. Or every of the month, we'll be sharing profits. So they can't tell you they are not selling now, or people are not coming to do events. We know. So they can't tell you that. So then after that, use local agents within the community. So that's very, very important. Then also involve the LCDA and include good compensation. So include good compensation. So this is where we are going to be drawing the curtain tonight. I'm so happy that we're able to achieve this in just 30 minutes thereabout. So, okay, so this is where I'm going to be drawing the curtain tonight so that I can take questions and answer. I hope this 30 minutes has worth your time. Is what you've been able to gain something in the last few minutes. So questions. So maybe if you have questions, drop it in the comment section, or you can raise up your hand. I'll just I'll mute 1 or 2 people. So questions, please. Questions. So we are in the question and answer session right now. I'm not seeing any question. How do one go about service plot? Okay, I'm going to answer that. Please let all the questions drop, please. Somebody is raising up his hand. But before I unmute you, I want to be sure that you can type the question, because it's good that if you can type the question, it will make it. Please, what is LCDA? I'm going to answer that too, so no problem. So what is LCDA? No problem, I'll answer that. So more questions, let your questions start coming in. So let me start answering questions. So Mr. Engineer Uchenna, I'll suggest you type it, but if you can't type, no problem. I'll come back to you after I read all the questions we have right here. Okay, so how do you go about this if it's a service plot? So what do you mean, Mr. Oladimeji? I'm assuming you didn't give us full details. So I'm assuming what you mean by service plot is that you bought that piece of land from a real estate company. So it's a service plot and you're not ready to build. I'm just assuming, but you can clarify. But if it's that, I believe they should allow you to fence it. Fence it and be doing farming inside your fencing. If it's one plot of land, on an acre, you can do 66,000 tubers of yam on 1 acre. On 1 acre, you can do 6,000 tubers of yam. So on one plot, you can do 1,000 tubers of yam, if I'm correct. So can just do that. I mean, who don't need yam now? Everybody needs yam now. So Miss Beam, what about LCDA again? LCDA is Local Community Development Association now. That's if you stay within an estate, they'll say estate association. If it's community association. When your transformer are spoiled, now the people where they repair the transformer now, they are the LCDA people. So most people, LCDAs have chairmen and all of those things, and they are very powerful. Involve them, let them know. They have chairman, they're usually structured, especially in places like Lagos. I know Lagos recognize them a lot. I don't know whether that answers your question. If it does not answer your question, please just ask the question or further break it down. Please, how do I start shortlet in Lagos? You pay for consultancy. Chat me up, Mr. Nat Oluk. Chat me up. Our official line is 080. Chat me up 08075343090. So chat me up. Please don't call that number, please. Just chat me up. Are we together? So I'll guide you or you pay consultancy. Mr. Ridwan, how do you monetize land in a community that is yet to develop in a bushy area to avoid being snatched by land grabber? Fence it, be doing farming. So, Mr. Ridwan, let me give you something, and everybody listen very carefully. There are three things you do when you buy a piece of land. First three things. You sort out documentation, make sure your land is well documented. You take possession by fencing. If you don't have money for fencing, dig the fence, dig the boundary around. Then you take possession. You take possession by doing farming. You take possession by doing anything. Just be doing something there. You understand? And you occupy rather. You take after documentation, you take possession and take occupation. You can be farming or you put somebody that will be staying there. Build bacha. You know what they call bacha? Put bacha. Homeless people will be staying there. They are the one that will be giving you information if somebody want to come and grab your land. Okay? Rotimi Dewu, what are the strategies for the strategy for, I'm trying to get this, for one to be successful, to be a successful real estate guru? Just be following me, don't worry. Follow, go to my YouTube channel. Or register for my mentorship program. It's not free, just register. I'll give you the details. Chat me up, I'll give you the details. What you need basically is somebody to hold your hands. That's just it. And when you say you want to become real estate guru, do you want to do real estate business? You understand? You want to do real estate business. So you really need to break it down. Real estate is big, it's huge. Mr. Yinka Ogushola is asking, I have a plot of land in Ibejuleki, but the area is very remote with bad access road, no development in the area yet. So how can I generate inflow from it? Okay, so it's probably a debt capital. Sell it. Can sell it off. Or if you are doing speculation, is he appreciating? If you are speculating, these are the things I said earlier. Don't worry, you will get a recording so you can listen to it like 4 or 5 times. Sometimes I talk from experience, I speak fast and all of those things. So it's very possible that I'm speaking above some people's head. It's very, very possible. So if it's a debt capital, sell it off, man. Sell it off. That's why there's option of selling. Okay? So what are the regulatory conditions of office and that regulate shortlets in Lagos and Abuja? These are consultancy questions. And this is not a shortlet training. So what are the regulation of shortlets and all of that? Basically, they are nothing much. So, but just chat me up, I'll guide you. Chat me up, I'll guide you. Okay. How can I join your mentorship program? Don't worry, chat me up. I need to know the area. How much is mentorship program? Don't worry, chat me up. Chat me up. I need to know the area you need mentoring. So what can I do about a plot of land? Somebody is asking a question. Please mute your mic, please. Somebody is asking a question. What can I do about the plot of land at the center of Port Harcourt in a busy area? I'm giving plenty example now, Mr. Vincent. Plenty example. You can do a lot. A lot, man. You can do a lot. School, lease. There's a video. I have a video Mr. Vincent, I'm very sure you have not watched that video. How to unlock the cash flow of your property. Go and watch that video. It's free. Or you chat me up. Everybody here has the number. So chat me up. Mr. Engineer Uche, no, it's better now. Yes, good that you wonderful presentation. I have two-story building of 9 flats. It has been roofed, plastered outside since 2019, but I have refused to let it out because it is uncompleted. But as we speak now, some tenants came that they want to pay 20,000 per room for 1 flat. Mr. Uchenna, okay, this is what I will do. I will answer this question for the benefit of everybody here, but what I will suggest you do is, you see, I've been in I know of a property that is similar to yours. In fact, at the point of completion, a Chinese company came. A Chinese company came and they leased the whole property for 25 years. Sorry, for 10 years rather, at 25 million per annum. And they paid up front. And he has not even completed the property. So, of course, that's the location. So, what I would suggest we do is that let's look for somebody that will lease the whole building like that. So, Mr. Uchenna, chat me up. I'll guide you on how you go about it. Somebody, Mr. Michael, is asking, is it compulsory to join estate agent association before you practice? Well, in Lagos State, there's Lasrera, and it's advisable you join them so that they won't arrest you one day in case you did do a transaction, but most people don't join them. I often advise people to join. So, okay. So, I think that's all the questions. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. So I want to especially appreciate every one of you for joining tonight. So it's a free session, it's a free event. So I'm going to stop the recording right now.